Ada, you have shown great courage and strength. The cat is an evil spirit that feeds on fear and despair. But you are not alone.
The Misery Cat. Once upon a time, in a small neighboring village called Umosu, there lived a young girl named Ada. One day, while walking through the busy market, Ada saw a beautiful cat with bright green eyes. She felt an instant connection and decided to buy the cat, not knowing that it was possessed by an evil spirit. From the first night, strange things began to happen. The cat, which she named Whiskey, would stare at her with its glowing eyes and follow her everywhere. Ada started having nightmares, and every time she woke up, Whiskey was right there, staring at her. The cat never left her side, even at night, always lying beside her as she slept. As weeks passed, Ada began to feel ill. She was constantly tired, and her appetite changed. One morning, she woke up feeling different. Ada's parents noticed her belly growing and asked her what was happening. Ada, terrified, couldn't explain how she became pregnant. Her parents, filled with anger and shame, believed she had brought disgrace to the family. They blamed her for not being careful and chased her out of the house. Ada, crying and confused, wandered through the village until she found herself on a narrow path leading into the forest. It was a path she had never taken before. As she walked deeper into the forest, the trees became twisted and dark, and a strange mist surrounded her. Ada realized she had entered the evil forest, a place everyone in the village feared. Suddenly, the trees began to whisper in a language she couldn't understand. The air grew cold, and shadows moved all around her. A voice came from one of the trees, speaking her name and laughing wickedly. Ada's heart pounded as she saw faces appear on the tree trunks, their eyes glowing red. They mocked her, saying she was foolish to enter their domain. Ada, terrified, tried to run, but the forest seemed to close in on her. The spirits of the forest angrily and vengefully surrounded her. They appeared as dark shadow figures, each one more terrifying than the last. The spirits attacked her, pulling her hair and scattering her skin. Ada screamed for help, but no one could hear her cries in the deep dark forest. As Ada fell to the ground, exhausted and beaten, she saw Whiskey watching her from a distance, its eye glowing more brightly than ever. She realized then that the cat had led her to this terrible place. The tree with the wicked voice spoke again, telling her that the cat was no ordinary cat, but a vessel for an evil spirit that had chosen her as its victim. Ada cried out, asking why this was happening to her. The spirit laughed, saying that she had been chosen because of her innocence and naive. They told her she would never leave the forest, and the mystery she felt was just beginning. As the night grew darker, Ada lay on the cold ground, bruised and frightened. She knew she had to find a way out of the forest, but every path seemed to lead deeper into darkness. The spirits continued to torment her, whispering terrible things in her ears and laughing at her pain. Ada's heart raced as the ground shook beneath her feet. The spirit's laughter echoed through the forest, growing louder and more. She knew she had to act quickly before the evil forces overwhelmed her. Gathering her courage, she stood up and faced Whiskey, who now seemed more like a shadow than a cat. "Why are you doing this?" Ada shouted, her voice trembling with fear and anger. "What do you want from me?" The cat's eyes glowed even brighter, and it began to speak in a low hissing voice. "You, Ada, are the chosen one. Your innocence and purity have drawn me to you. I need your life force to complete my power. This forest is my domain, and now it is your prison." Ada felt a chill run down her spine. She realized that the cat was not just an evil spirit, but a powerful being seeking to consume her very soul. But she couldn't give up. She had to find a way to escape and save herself from this nightmare. Looking around, Ada noticed that the forest seemed to shift and change, the trees moving as if alive. The path she had taken had disappeared, and there was no way to tell which direction led out of the forest. She felt trapped, with no hope of escape. But then a glimmer of light caught her eyes. It was faint, but it was there, a small glowing shiny stone floating in the distance. Ada felt a strange pull towards it, as if it was calling her. She knew she had to reach it. Whatever it was, it might be her only chance to find a way out of the evil forest. As she started to move towards the light, the spirits began to close in on her again. Their faces twisted with anger. They hissed and screamed, trying to scare her back. But Ada pushed forward, ignoring their taunts and the pain from their attacks. She focused on the light. Her only hope is the darkness. The closer she got, the stronger the pull became. It was as if the light was guiding her, giving her strength. As she reached out to touch the stone, a voice whispered in her ear, "Do not give up, Ada. You have the power to overcome this darkness." Just as her fingers brushed the light, a blinding flash enveloped her. The spirit screamed in rage, and Ada felt herself being lifted off the ground. When the light faded, she found herself in a clearing, the shining stone floating before her. It was a beautiful glowing spell. Warm and comforting, Ada felt a strange sense of peace, as if the shining stone was protecting her from the evil spirits. The shining stone began to speak in a soft, gentle voice.
Ada, you have shown great courage and strength. The cat is an evil spirit that feeds on fear and despair. But you are not alone. This forest is not just a place of evil. There are also forces of good here. I am one of those forces, and I will help you.
Ada felt tears in her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. "But how can I escape this forest? The spirits won't let me leave." The shining stone replied,
The only way to break the curse and leave the forest is to confront the cat and destroy its power. You must find the source of its strength and save the connection. It will not be easy, but you have the courage within you. Follow the light and it will guide you to the source.
With new determination, Ada nodded. The shining stone began to move, and Ada followed, the spirits keeping their distance, afraid of the light. They walked through the forest, the path illuminated by the shining stone. Ada felt stronger with each step, her fear slowly fading. As they reached the heart of the forest, the trees parted, revealing a dark shadow figure standing in the center. It was Whiskey, but no longer a cat. It had transformed into a mysterious being, its eyes glowing with malice. The air around it was thick with darkness, and Ada felt the weight of the evil spirit's presence. "This is the end, Ada," the spirit hissed. "You cannot defeat me. Your soul is mine." But Ada stood her ground, holding the shining stone tightly. "I won't let you win," she declared. "I will break your curse and free myself from this nightmare." The shining stone glowed brighter, and the spirit sinkled in pain. Ada knew this was her chance. She focused all her strength on the shining stone, willing to destroy the spirit's power. The lights grew brightly brighter, and the spirit screamed as the darkness around it began to dissolve. Ada felt a urge of energy, the light filling her with warmth and strength. She knew she was close to breaking the curse, but the spirit fought back, its shadow lashing out at her. The battle raged on, with Ada struggling to maintain her focus. Ada stood her ground, the sunlight shining brightly in her hands. The evil spirit, now fully revealed as a mysterious shadow, thrashed and hissed, trying to envelop her in darkness. But Ada refused to be consumed by fear. She remembered the words of the stone. She had the courage and strength within her. Summoning all her inner strength, Ada focused on the stone, channeling its light towards the spirit. The forest seemed to hold its breath as the light testified, pushed back the shadows. The spirit screamed, its form flicking and weakening. "You cannot defeat me," the spirit shaking. "I am eternal." But Ada did not falter. "You have no power over me," she declared, her voice steady and strong. I choose to be free from fear and darkness. With a final burst of energy, the stone slice exploded, enveloping the spirit in a blinding radiance. The shadows twisted before dissolving into nothingness. The air cleared, and the oppressive waves lifted from the forest. As the light faded, Ada found herself standing alone in the now peaceful clearing. The stone floated in front of her, glowing softly. Ada felt a wave of relief and joy wash over her. The evil spirit was gone, and the curse was broken. Ada's stomach came back to normal. The stone spoke once more, its voice gentle and kind. "You have done well, Ada. You faced your fears and overcame them with courage and determination. Remember, true strength comes from within, and you have the power to overcome any challenge." Ada nodded, understanding the truth in those words. The stone then began to rise into the sky, its light slowly fading. "Follow the path back," it said. "You will find your way home." With a grateful heart, Ada watched as the stone disappeared into the sky. She turned and saw a clear path leading out of the forest. As she walked, she felt lighter, as if a great burden had been lifted from her shoulders. When Ada finally emerged from the forest, she found her parents waiting for her. They ran to her, tears of relief and joy in their eyes. They embraced her, apologizing for not believing in her and for their harsh treatment. Ada forgave them, understanding that fear and misunderstanding have driven their actions. As they walked back to the village, Ada shared her story with her parents. They were amazed by her bravery and the trials she had faced. Ada realized that her journey had taught her many important lessons about strength, courage, and the power of believing in oneself. Moral lesson of this story: the story of the mystery cat teaches us that true strength and courage come from within. It is important to face our fears and not let them control us. Even in the darkest time, we must remember that we have the power to overcome challenges and adversities. Thank you all for watching, and come back for my next video. I love you.